Hey guys, what's going on? So today I'm gonna show you how to record and render 60 frames per second video for YouTube. Um, this can work for either Xbox One or PlayStation 4 in this case, since I'm using a PlayStation 4. Not really so hard. I decided to do this video because there is a lot of tutorials out there, but they pretty much just tell you one thing. They don't really show you everything because the things that I didn't work for me, and I had to play a little bit with settings. So I'm gonna show you with two recording software. So the first thing you have to do, I'm actually using a Hotpog HD PVR2 with the Hotpog capture. You're gonna see that in a minute. But what you wanna do is go on your settings. You wanna go on your settings, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. You have to go to your video settings, and you have to put your resolution at 720 because the HDPVR2 and other Hotpog products can capture at 60 frames per second, but the output has to be at 720. So you go to your video output settings and you have to make sure it's on 720. As you can see right here, mine's already there. So go ahead and do 720p on your Xbox One, so you can do the same. If you're using a different type of capture card, I'm pretty sure it is the same. I think most popular capture cards can only record 60 frames per second at 720. If you're able to output this 1080p at 60 frames per second, and your capture card can record that, then go ahead and do that. But just make sure you do 720. If your capture card won't do 1080, just do 720, which is the safest thing to do. The thing I know that it's gonna work for sure. Now let's go to the computer side to show you how to do this. So yeah, let's move on. So on your computer side, you have to make sure that the video that you recorded is gonna be 60 frames per second. To make sure you did that, go to your capture folder and look for the video that you just recorded. Let's say I actually just recorded this right now, and let me see. You just go to properties and you go your details, and it'll tell you right here the frames per second. So this is a 59 frames per second, as you can see right here. Let me show you another video that I recorded before. So just right click it, go to properties, and go to details, and make sure it says right here, actually says 59 frames per second as well, which is pretty much 60 frames per second. That's how you make sure that the video that you recorded, it's at 60 frames per second. Also, your Hotpog capture should be telling you right here what resolution is outputting. If it says 1080p 60 frames per second, and then it's converted to 30 frames per second, and that's not right. It has to look just like this to be able to get that. So on your Hotpog capture, if you're using Hotpog capture, you're gonna want to go to your advanced settings right here and make sure all of these, at least the 720p says source to source. So output source, output frame rate source. Make sure it says that because when I lower my resolution on the PlayStation 4, this changed it to something else. So make sure it says source right here, and you're gonna be able to capture that. So that's one part that you have to make sure you do. Now let's minimize that. I guess I have to wait for it to restart. Anyways, so let's minimize that, and let me show you how to render it on Sony Vegas Pro. This is the most used for YouTubers, and it's not really hard to use. You do have to kind of learn a little bit, but it's not so hard. If you do own Sony Vegas Pro, then this might help you. I have Sony Vegas Pro 11, and I'm pretty sure it should work for other versions. Just the menu kind of looks a little bit different, but you're gonna be able to find the same settings anyways. So go ahead and open the file that you just recorded, and I'm gonna try to do like a 5-second video. So okay, so we agreed that this was 60 frames per second, right? And I'm just gonna cut it really quick. I'm gonna make that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm actually trying to do this. So this is actually 13-second video. I'm gonna make it into a 5-second video, right? Don't worry about that. 5-second video. I'm just gonna cut it right there, and I'm gonna delete this really quick. If you're using Sony Vegas Pro, a lot of people have different opinions about this. It works very good for me. I always disable resample, so I get more crisp or crispier video. So when you're done editing your video, doing whatever you're doing, you're gonna want to render it, or go to render as you usually do. So go to render as, and your menu is gonna pop out. I don't know why it's taking so long for mine. It usually doesn't take that long. Anyways, I already have on my my favorites right here, which is Internet HD 1080p or Internet HD 720. I'm not recording at 1080p anymore, so I'm recording at 720. Actually, before we do that, make sure your settings are the right settings right here. Try to match your video settings. So if your video, let's say my video is right here. My video it's 1280 by 720, and right here you have your frames per second. So you just try to match that on your settings over here. You just try to do the same thing right here. That's what it says on mine, but we can lower it to 720. We can lower it like that. Just try to do that, but for some reason I've been leaving it right here. So let's be safe and leave it at HD. At HD at this right here, 29 frames per second is the safest. Anyways, let's just leave it like that. So when you go to render, you're gonna do the main concept AVC AAC, which is MP4 format. It's a compressed video file that won't take too much space or anything like that. So let me show you where you can find it. So you're gonna find all of this in main concept. It's right here. It's main concept AVC. Don't go to other main concepts. It's this one right here. This is the perfect one that works with YouTube, because you can find right here Internet HD. So that's render for internet. If you're able to record 60 frames per second with your capture card, then sure, use 1080p, or in my case it's 720p. Now these are settings that work for me, and you probably don't have to do this. I actually had a hard time before when I started using Sony Vegas, because no one was able to explain this on their videos. So this actually is going to be pretty helpful. So go to Internet HD 720p. You don't start rendering. Depends on your computer. It might not start. You can just start it, but you do want to go and customize, because you want to get 60 frames per second. So you got your template right here. You can even create one if you want. I don't really mind setting it up every time. So what do we have right here? All of this info, you need to change some of it only. Right here, as you can see, it's telling you the frames per second. Now you're gonna want to click right here, but there's nothing else. The highest resolution, or the highest frame per second, or FPS, is 29. To change that, just unclick this little thing that says allow search to adjust frame rate. Just change that, and on these numbers, go from 29 to 60, and then change those 9 and 7 to 00. So that works for me. Don't click this back, just leave it like that. Just leave it that way. And you can either leave this right here, depending on your computer. Where it says encode mode, you can leave it automatic. Depends on the PC. You can turn on automatic. If you get a notification that it can be recorded, I'm actually going to show you right now. So if you click OK without changing that and try to render, it might not let you, just like that, right? If you get that notification, don't worry about it. Just go back to your file, go to render as again, choose your resolution, go to customize again, and don't forget to change these settings again. For some reason, it's not doing it for me, but there you go. So let's leave that unclicked. Okay, So let's change that again. And we're gonna do 60 right here. 60, right? Okay. That sounded kind of funny. So 60 again, and then if you get the notification that I got, then go to render using CPE only. That usually works for me. Click OK, and that's all you have to do for this. It's gonna show right here, highlighted. Just go to render, and it renders for me on my desktop, and it only takes a few seconds. Oh, of course, it's only gonna take a few seconds right now because it's a really short video. But know that now that you're changing the resolution and the frames per second, depending on the length of your video, you're gonna get a big file that it's probably gonna be over 1 gigabyte. So be aware of that because you're increasing the frames per second, your file is actually increasing in size as well. So just know that it might take a little longer than usual, but will get the result. So it's done rendering, and let's check, make sure that it's actually recorded or rendered at 60 frames per second. It's right here. So remember, right click it, properties, details. Always check this right here. And as you can see right here, it says 60 frames per second. So that's how you do it with Sony Vegas Pro, and it works. It works pretty good. Now let me show you really quick how to do it with Windows Movie Maker, which is the software that comes with most Windows PCs. And it's not as good as Sony Vegas, but it can do the job. I actually prefer Sony Vegas because, like I said, it actually gives you more crispy results. Like the image looks just a lot better, more sharp, more crispy. Windows Movie Maker kind of loses a little bit of resolution, but it still does the job. If you don't have the money to buy any other software, just use the one that comes with your computer. It should work well. So let's grab this video again, same video that I have recorded, and then we're going to kind of just make a 2-second video, right? Something like that. I'm gonna cut that. I'm gonna delete this. The reason I'm doing this is because the process is a lot faster. Anyways, so when you're done editing your video, you're gonna want to go to save movie. Now the only thing about this one is that you actually have to make a new setting for these things. That way you don't have to go back and do it all the time. So if you go to recommended one, the recommended one is just gonna choose the settings for you. It's gonna try to replicate the settings of your raw video, but you're not gonna get 60 frames per second in that way. As you can see right here, I already have mine set up right here, and if you see the information on display size, I have 1920 by 1080 widescreen, and it tells you right there the bit rate and all of that good stuff. Now, Windows Movie Maker won't be able to do 60 frames per second at 720. I already tried, and it won't come out on widescreen. Down here, I have another setting that I was trying, and for some reason wasn't coming out right. So it says 1080, 720. As you can see right there, it says standard. Instead of saying widescreen like it does over here, it says standard. So that won't be widescreen. You will get a letterbox type of thing. I forgot what it's called. Anyways, so to get 60 frames per second on that, you have to create custom settings, right? So to do that, you have to go to create custom settings, and of course you go to new, and then let's do high definition display, and you can name it 60 FPS for YouTube, whatever you want to name it. You have your settings right here, and then you're gonna want to change these settings from 2997 to 60.00. That's fine, 60.00, and you're gonna save that, and then you're gonna save it right here. So you're gonna kind of do the same already there. It's gonna save on your computer because you're gonna need that for later. So save it and then close. Now when you go right here to save movie, you should be able to see your new settings right here. And right when you see that, it says 1920 by 1080 pixels and widescreen. So that's gonna work for you. Just hit, let me see, there's this one right here, right? So just hit that. It's gonna ask you to save your movie, and then you save it. And this one is being super fast because it's just a small video, but we need to check if it's actually working as, or working for, or being rendered in or at 60 frames per second. So my movie, this is the one from Movie Maker. So right click it, properties, details, and 60 frames per second right here. So it might seem a little bit complicated, but it's really not. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section. I will be able to help you. I really wanted to do this video because I couldn't find anything around that would help me, and I hope this will make your life a little bit easier. I know there's a lot of people starting YouTube channels because it's just a lot easier to do it now. A lot of people are investing on recording cards because they're awesome. I love my Hapag HD PVR2. I don't like recording with the PlayStation 4. It's not the same. But anyways, there you go, guys. And like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. And thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. If you found this helpful, just give it a thumbs up. That helps my channel a lot. And thank you very much for watching again. And stay posted for the next video. Bye-bye.